guys, welcome back, and hello if you are new. I'm not gonna lie, I feel really weird today. I was out yesterday, just about to go into fit for an autopsy actually, and found out the news that Trevor had passed, and it's not easy. It's really not easy, and above all, for me, I'm not going to make the entire video about this, but like, just so you guys know the kind of headspace I'm in, Trevor was a friend, man. Like, we wouldn't necessarily like speak all the time, but any time that they came to London, he was like, yo man, you come to the show. Like, I've interviewed him, I've lost count of how many times, maybe 5 or 6 times, I think, on various different album cycles, different campaigns. And he was just a wonderful human being. And it really makes me so sad that we're never going to see him on stage again. I don't know. I find it really difficult because I think I'm still sort of processing it. And, I'm someone who wasn't even necessarily hugely close to him, but like, we've chatted so many times, like both in person and, on Instagram or, like WhatsApp or whatever. And I'm just really gonna miss him. So is everyone else, man. He literally lit up every single room that he would walk into, and he was the nicest fella, also one of the funniest dudes I've ever met as well. So, not to try and sort of bring the mood too down a little bit, but that's why I'm maybe not quite as animated as I have been previously. But I'm here today to talk about Misery Index's Complete Control album. This is a great record, and if there's anything that Trevor would have wanted, it would be for me to carry on talking about death metal. So with that in mind, let's delve into Misery Index and Complete Control. No reason, just losing years against the grain. So this is the first album to be released on their new label, Century Media. Previously the band was on Season of Mist for quite some time. And if you're not familiar with them, they're kind of like an amalgamation of hardcore meets death metal, with a bit of grind thrown in there as well, and a little bit of melodic metal, I would say. And Complete Control, for me, I think really sees the band tightening things up, even tighter than they are normally, which is incredibly tight. They are pinpoint accurate, like Rituals of Power. I reviewed that previously on my channel. Was a good album, but this one is even better. I think one of the great things I really enjoyed about this record is the atmosphere. I felt like that was kind of missing off of the last record, especially when you had an album as good as The Killing Gods, which that sort of 5-track run that is Faust is just absolutely brilliant. It's a fantastic way to open the album, and the same thing happens here. Administer the Dagger, starts with that sort of like clean, very malevolent tone, and then just gets sort of heavier and heavier from there. It's a loose concept album, essentially, and each of the songs sort of describes a different area of control, but the main sort of crux of it is that essentially control is no longer something that you would have with brute force or power, and instead it's far more insidious, and really kind of pertains to an actual individual. And it's the idea of the fact that we're able to control people, suppress their self-expression for global financial gain. But as I mentioned, this is an album which is very much, death metal, grind, and a bit of hardcore. And I think, that's always been Misery Index's three main focuses, like Eaters and the Eaten and Rites of Cruelty, kind of take a temporary walk on the grind side for a while. But then afterwards, it's always centered around this idea of the groove, which is where I think both the death metal and also the hardcore influence kind of comes through. And Complete Control has to be probably my favourite track off this album. I think it's a great example of just how devastating Misery Index can be as a band, and particularly when they get all things kind of firing up at the same time. And the songwriting on this album, I think, you know, allowed for a bit more experimentation, especially on the guitar side of things. I felt like there's more harmonies. It kind of led itself a little bit more to the melodic death metal sort of slant. And the guitar solos, I've always liked guitar solos in Misery Index, but some of the ones on here were, you know, kind of like had like a diminished sort of feel, and then also kind of almost like a chromatic sort of idea, but I feel like that's very much in their riffs as well, and that kind of was explored, which I really enjoyed. But when it comes to that sense of, you know, the bounce and the kind of groove, you've got Conspiracy of None and Infiltrators, which again, you know, make sure that that sort of level of energy is kept up. Infiltrators! Set them out! Infiltrators! Conspiracy of None! The great thing I think about this is that with the Killing Gods, I kind of really liked the first suite, and then I felt like the rest of the album never quite lived up to it, whereas I feel like Complete Control now has a very much kind of all the way through listen that I would definitely recommend. So I hope you guys enjoyed this album review. Sorry I'm not kind of as sprightly as normal, shall we say, but I wanted to make sure that the word got out about Misery Index and their killer new album. So make sure you give it a listen. Let me know what you think in the comments underneath me. You can also pick up the record underneath me as well. Other than that, I will see you guys very soon. Take care, my friends, and always, always speak to each other. Never, ever think that, you know, you can't reach out. You can fucking reach out to me. I don't mind. You know, I'll try and do my best to chat to anyone. But never, ever, ever think that no one's listening, because they really are. Right? I love you all, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon.